Hello everyone, I'd like to share my Jean build and her team compositions with you in the short guide, starting with her build, then her team compositions and some Abyss gameplay at the end.
No touching. Go and splash. Nice and spicy.
When the game first launched, a lot of people experimented with a main DPS build on Jean, and a lot of newer players might do the same, especially after reading her first passive skill. But honestly, her damage turned out to be kind of underwhelming, and the best route you can take is probably to just build her as a dedicated healer. That being said, her build still looks a little bit like a sub DPS, because her heals actually scale off attack, and if you're building attack anyway, you might as well boost her damage and build some crit rate, crit damage, and a Nemo bonus damage. The one thing you need definitely is energy recharge, because her elemental burst skill is actually quite expensive. I think 180% is a good spot. For her talents, just prioritize leveling up her elemental burst skill. After this, her elemental skill, you can ignore her normal attacks. I just have them leveled up because it's a relic of this main DPS Jean time. For her constellations, they just boost her personal damage a little bit, and some of them actually buff her supporting capabilities, like a team-wide attack speed buff and movement speed, a built-in viridescent set basically, and a 35% damage reduction, all of that on her elemental burst skill. For her weapons, obviously anything that has crit rate, crit damage, or attack percentage would work. I recommend energy recharge because you want to hit these 180% threshold, and it makes the artifact grind a little less intensive if you have it on your weapon. Obviously, the Festering Desire is a good option if you have it, otherwise 4-star options would be Sacrificial Sword or Favonius Sword. Obviously, if you have 5-star options, might as well use this on her if you are willing to give your healer a 5-star weapon. For her artifacts, we already covered substats earlier, and for the main stats you can actually make her kind of like a DPS because her elemental burst skill heals that much that you don't need to go for that much scaling on it. So on the timepiece, attack percentage, if you don't have a weapon with energy recharge and need to make up for a lot of it, you might as well consider going energy recharge here. Always Nemo damage here, and crit rate or crit damage, whichever one balances your stats better in the last slot. For the set effect, there's only one option in my opinion, because this is where most of her utility will come from, the 4-piece viridescent set. You can get it from the domain right here. For her team compositions, I'm not gonna go into too much detail because she is a healer, she basically fits in every team composition that you can think of. Just the standard formula, 1 main DPS, 2 supports and Jean as a healer. One thing to note is, if you want to make use of her viridescent set, you want to pair her with something that deals hydro, electro, cryo or pyro damage since she lowers resistances. On top of that, her elemental burst skill actually provides a cleanse, or like she infuses her teammates with an emo and it gets rid of hydro or cryo debuffs in Abyss, for example, that will drain your energy or your stamina. So that's another good utility thing to think about. So let's just throw a showcase team together. Let's pick a main DPS, for example Klee, she deals pyro damage, so the Nemo set will get value. On top of that, we need something to enable her like Jingshou for Vaporize, and we don't need an Anemo character to lower resistances since we have our healer Jean on the job, so we can actually pick another damage support like, for example Zhang Ling to get Pyro Resonance. So now let me try to demonstrate this. The first thing you want to do is usually apply the element to the enemy that you want to have the resistance lowered. So in this case we apply Pyro and then switch to Jean and lower the resistances to Pyro. You can do this with the elemental skill or the elemental burst skill. Then we proceed with the game plan, in this case vaporizing. As you see, we vaporize there. I should have used Jingshou's ultimate burst ability to be honest, but we crit and killed it nearly, so it's fine. So now I'm gonna leave you with some Abyss gameplay. Unfortunately, I still haven't done Abyss on my main account, so it's only floor 10, but it should still be a good enough example of using Jean in endgame content, since she isn't the centerpiece of attention as a healer and only occasionally uses her elemental skill and elemental burst skill.
Wind, hear me. Blaze over.
Alright, so we made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own builds. Stay tuned for more guides in the future. Until then, have fun in Teyvat and bye bye.